Here's another short video. This one is on setting up a trigger that when you push a box into it will then switch a light on and off. So you need three things for this. You want, in the basics tab, I'm on the left side of my screen here, grab the cube, then in the volumes tab here, or if you just search at the top for trigger, and then grab a box trigger. And lastly, you need a light for this to all connect to. So I'm in blueprints, lights, and I'm just going to grab a spotlight and put that in over here. Alrighty, first step with your cube. I'm on the right side in its details tab, right side of my screen. Find its physics tab and check simulate physics. So that'll let the character actually push it around. Then go down into its collisions tab and find generate overlap events and check that. So in the blueprint we're going to be pushing the box into the trigger here, which we're looking for overlaps specifically with that box, and then when it gets that overlap it's going to toggle the light. Next step, go onto the light you've put in its details tab on the right side here. Go to its default and check light on. So that will depend on whether the light is on at the start of play. So here it's on. If it were off like this, uncheck that. That just makes sure the function that actually turns the light on and off is using the right variables, because then if you get that the wrong way around it'll mess up shadow detection and a bunch of other things. Alrighty, so you've got box, simulating physics, and generating overlap events, and your light, the light on variable matches whether the light's switched on. Next step, at the top of the screen in the blueprints drop down menu, open up the level blueprint. Alrighty, first step, click on the trigger box in the editor, and then back on the blueprint over here, right click, add event for trigger box. You want a collision event, and on actor begin overlap. So that creates the overlap event in the blueprint. Then from the other actor pin, drag out, just put in an equal sign and get the equal object, and then grab the box from the editor window, back in the blueprint, right click, create a reference to the cube, and then connect those pins. So this will make sure that it only registers the overlap if it's this cube, so that'll stop the player from walking in it and triggering the event. So that could, for context, maybe it needs a certain weight to trigger the switch, or you just don't want the player funking up the system. Alrighty, from the on overlap event, drag out from the pin and search for branch, then connect the red pin from the equals node up into the branch. And lastly, you want to grab the spotlight or whatever light you've put in, right click, call function on spotlight, go to the blueprints spotlight drop down, and then get toggle light. Then just drag from the true of the branch to the function, compile that, and then if you run the game you should be able to just push the box into that trigger and then the light switches off. That's pretty much it. I'll just do a quick recap. So you need the object you want to be pushing, you need a trigger, and you need a light. On the object you're pushing, you need it to be simulating physics and generating overlap events, and then the light default tab the light on needs to match whether the light's on at the start of play. Then in the blueprints, you need a on overlap for the trigger box. It checks whether it's colliding with the cube or not, and then if this is true, it is toggling the light. Alright, that pretty much does it. If you got any more questions, just shoot me a message. Cheers.